Hi there and welcome to the Core Skills Frequently Asked Question video. Question number 1. What happens if my child doesn't have their reading book in their bag? We do have a bank of colour-banded reading books in our settings, and we do have access to a library of books that we can use. It's a very limited supply, and if it frequently happens and needs to be used, it will run out. But as an emergency measure on the odd day that it happens, it's not a problem, we will pick that up. Question 2. What happens if my child doesn't have a spelling or a times table target? In that situation, we do have our own tracking and progress systems that we use with settings or with children engaging with us and families engaging with us online. We do prefer to follow what's coming home from school, as then it's consistent with school rather than doing something different. Will we give you any feedback? The feedback is limited within a core skills session. If your child has a reading log, as most schools do, we will write in the reading log, and that will be the feedback mechanism, because the staff member may not be available at the time that you pick up. They may have already left. So they'll be recorded in the reading book for any reading. If they have a spellings, typically it'll be recorded in a spellings log if your child has a spelling log, or a home correspondence book. And in terms of a times tables, again, there's no specific handover notes given from these sessions. We do, however, if children don't have their books, their spellings or times table targets, we do leave a small slip in their bag, just informing you of that. And you just need to check their book bag at the end of a core skills or home correspondence book. But there's no face-to-face feedback on daily sessions with core skills, hence, again, keeping the price lower. Another question lots of parents typically ask is, should I do the reading, the spellings or the times tables? I don't know which to prioritize and which to do for my child. Quite simply, all three if you're not sure. We do all three. That means we get about 6-7 minutes on each, which is about what every child needs. Obviously, if you've got a child that's maybe struggling more with spellings, then we might do spellings and you might leave the other ones and we just do 20 minutes of spellings. It's about knowing your child, and we can always have that conversation, and then we set up that routine for you. Another question we commonly get is, does the staff member stay the same? So the staff member is booked for every week, so their Monday session adult will generally always be the same. Their Tuesday adult may, however, be different with core skills, but we try to keep it as consistent as possible. Our staff have tracking sheets and they record every single session on a tracking sheet with your child, so any adult that is picking up after a session in the following week, they have full notes on where to carry on from. Another common question we get is, how do we feed back to your child? We ask every child to reflect on a session in themselves. We ask them to reflect on the effort they feel they put in. We ask them to reflect on their understanding and challenge level of what they were given by school. And we just encourage that reflection from a learning characteristics point of view, about reflecting on the work they've done. And that's recorded in their packs as well with our staff member and the child. To go into a little bit more detail about the reading, spellings and times tables. Reading, just to clarify for parents, is we're practicing reading with your child. They get engaged in some conversation and discussion around the book, but we're not teaching reading. We leave that to the teachers and the guided reading sessions or our qualified teachers in our settings. The other part of that is spellings. In spellings, we tend to focus on only 3 words in a session and do lots of different activities. We found that far more effective than trying to do all their spelling words all in one go. That, however, is sometimes increased beyond 3. If they're only doing spellings over 20 minutes, we might end up doing 5 or 6 words with them. Times tables, we will work on the one and only target that they are on, keeping reinforcing and going over it. If we feel they've got very secure knowledge of the target they're currently working on and school hasn't had the opportunity to assess them, we may move them on to what we believe the next step will be. However, we will always keep recapping on the current target given to them by school.